I only talked to one half of the family.
I think maybe one sec here.
Yes.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Good morning. My name is Brother Damon, and I stand here as a proud and beloved son of my parents. I stand here as a devoted husband and father. I stand here as a leader in my community and as a professional in my position as the director of field operations for the Newark Community Street Team, started by our wonderful mayor, the Honorable Mayor Ruiz. But more important than all that, I stand here as a product of second chances. I stand here because as a young man, I made some bad choices and I got incarcerated. And as I was incarcerated and getting out, I felt hopelessly trapped into the destiny of shame and disappointment. However, with the blessing of second chances, I've been able to reform my life and become the man that you see standing before you today, a whole and redeemed man, and a full and a free citizen, and a hero to my son. There are countless historical stories of second chances. This world and this country that we live in would not even be possible if it wasn't for second chances. So we are called New Jersey because there was an old Jersey. There are famous stories about Moses, about Paul, about Malcolm X, about James Brown, about Johnny Cash, all who were members of the convicted class but got a second chance and later became very productive for our community and this nation. But there are thousands of other stories that we don't know. Stories about the barber, the minister, the mechanic, the plumber, the truck driver who works 2 jobs to feed his family, and those who have made a powerful difference in their community. So there's a great power in second chances, but there are often not enough of them. Today, these stories are too hard, and the great potential that lies in the American dream goes unrealized too often by the most vulnerable of the citizens. So I'm honored to work every day with young men and women who are determined to make a better life and a better Newark, to move from the hell raisers to the helpful, to move from the cursed and the menace to the mentors and the miracles. But without the right to vote, without an earned clean slate, without an end to the old punishment that extends into their new freedom, they have no voice, they have no real chance, and they have no real hope. So every day at NCST, we find them and we work with them to make a positive difference and to become the agents of that positive change. These bills will help them, and these bills will help us, and I believe these bills will help this nation. These bills that are being signed into law will give many individuals in this great state of New Jersey a true second chance. A second chance of being able to have their offenses expunged from their records with the obstacles of the fees and the tedious efforts that take place to even find the efforts. Many of our mentees that we have working with, they wouldn't be able to even navigate to find out what they should do to get an expungement without this type of law being passed. So a second chance to practice one of the most vital means of the democratic process, the life of being able to vote and elect those that are representative of us. So as I close, I thank Governor Murphy and the Assembly and all those advocates for working to advance these bills and then signing them into law. I thank Almighty God for second chances. I thank Almighty God for our wonderful mayor in the city of Newark, who definitely believes in second chances by creating an organization called the Newark Community Street Team. And I thank my executive director from the Newark Community Street Team, Director Achilles Sherrills. For him giving us the opportunity, people like myself and numerous others that work in the Newark Community Street team, to have a second chance. And now, without further ado, I want to introduce our great governor of this state, who is a man that is letting us know that this is the actual season that we're in, a season of forgiveness and a season for second chances, Governor Phil Murphy.
Thank you, man. Love you, buddy. Thank you. Wow. Damon, that's a tough act to follow. Good morning, everybody. It's always a good day for me when I'm in Newark, so I'm really thrilled to be here. I want to particularly thank the Newark One Stop Career Center for hosting us this morning. To Damon Durden, I thank you for your words, for your life story, for your work with the Newark Community Street team to help break the cycles of violence and recidivism. God bless you, man. Let's give it up one more time. This is a big one. Today is a historic day for social justice. In just a few moments, I will, with great pride, sign 2 measures into law that will ensure our justice system works as it is intended to allow returning citizens to reclaim their role as equal members of our society. So, Damon, I'm honored to be with you today and so many others. I am particularly honored to be with the mayor of the great city of Newark, the guy behind me, Ras J. Baraka. I'm honored to stand as well and in this room to have some of my legislative partners, and I want to give a particular shout out to 3 that you're going to hear from: Senator Sandra Cunningham, Senator Theresa Ruiz, and Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter. There are a cavalcade of elected officials here. I'm going to try this. If I screw this up, please keep me in your prayers. Former Governor Jim McGreevey is with us. Jim, thank you for being here. Members of the Assembly, Ralph Caputo right here in seat 1B. Shanique Spate over in seat 2B. Angela McKnight beside her. Cleopatra Tucker beside her. Mayor Ted Green, God bless you, from East Orange. Mayor Patrice from Hillside. Madam President, I wish if only in Washington, Mildred Crump is in the House. Councilman Carlos Gonzalez, many others here. I'm going to refer to the organizations and others in a minute, either from the podium or when I sign the bill. We also could not be here and would not be here without our faith leaders. We're not in the sanctuary, but I do want to get this off my chest. I want to give glory and honor to God, because without that, we wouldn't be here. So there are faith leaders here today. I see Reverend Louise Roundtree is in the house. God bless you. I got Reverend Steffi Bartley back there. Reverend Charles Boyer is with us. And I think I'm also told Reverend Jerry Smith, Reverend John Taylor, Reverend Brian Ali, among others, are here. So bless you all. Some old friends, Dr. Dorr, you're in the back. I see you. Bill Payne is 2 to your right. And Eric B. is here in seat 1D. So great to have you here. And for the advocacy groups, again, I'll either shout you out now by name or later. ACLU of New Jersey, thank you for everything. The New Jersey Institute for Social Justice. Especially Democracy and Justice Fellow Ron Piers, God bless him. The NAAC New Jersey State Conference, the Newark Community Street Team, the New Jersey Black Issues Convention, the Urban League, the Hub, New Jersey Working Families, People's Organization for Progress, and the Brennan Center for Justice, among so many other organizations. One other category is our elected officials, not with us today, but officials who really helped pull this over the goal line. Assemblyman Jamel Holley, Assemblywoman Annette Quijano, Assemblywoman Verlina Reynolds-Jackson, Assemblyman Benji Wimberly, Assemblywoman Brittany Timberlake, and I think that's it for now, but if anyone thinks of others, please jump in. There are also so many others, I mentioned a couple of them across this room, who have shared their stories with me. I thank you for your courage in sharing your stories, and I thank you for enhancing the cause of justice. Your words have guided us as much as anything. You've all been leaders in every sense of the word as we work toward to enact this second chance agenda. Together we are making, together today is a historic day for New Jersey and for literally tens of thousands of residents. First, we are allowing residents with low-level drug and nonviolent offenses to have their record expeditiously expunged, including online, including, yeah, I love this. We have the best, by the way, and among other things, the best sound effects of any press conference I've been associated with. So that's including online and without application fees so they can have a meaningful chance at a good job, an education, and a strong future. Residents who have not committed an offense in 10 years and who have not been convicted of the most serious crimes will now have the opportunity to start anew with a clean slate. And to ensure this system meets our goals for fairness and efficiency, we are establishing a task force to develop an automated clean slate expungement system, an automatic system for expungements for individuals convicted of multiple crimes who have had a clean record for at least 10 years. I am proud that we are giving New Jersey one of the most progressive expungement laws in the nation, allowing more people to have the opportunity to fully participate in our society and our economy. I am especially grateful to Senator Sandra Cunningham behind me and Assemblyman Jamel Holley, who worked alongside us to take what was already a good bill and make it even more impactful. I also want to give a shout out on absentia. I forgot them earlier. Senate President Steve Sweeney. We wouldn't be here without Steve. And Senator, the birthday boy, Senator Ron Rice, Newark's own. Secondly, we are allowing more than 80,000 residents on probation or parole to once again have the ability to walk into a voting booth and have a say in our democracy. These are residents who are living as full participants in their communities and yet have been needlessly prevented from having a voice in the future direction of their communities. There are 13 states that allow residents on probation or parole to vote, including, by the way, for the critics of this, who don't understand this, I will just keep them in my prayers. It includes red states like Indiana, Montana, and even Utah. So this is not and should not be one party or the other. This is the right thing to do. Since our campaign for governor, I've called for New Jersey to join this group, and I'm proud in a few minutes that it will do so today. Our democracy is stronger when more people can participate. You all know this because of the racial disparities in our criminal justice system, preventing residents on probation or parole from voting, disproportionately disenfranchised communities of color. And it is hard not to see how the laws that made it difficult, if not near impossible, for people to clean their slates also disproportionately impacted communities of color. Their continued presence in our laws would belie the New Jersey we are trying to build in the 21st century. So today is not just about writing a new chapter of New Jersey history. It's also about making up for the failures of history. And we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge that it was 400 years ago this year that the first enslaved Africans arrived on this continent. When I took office 23 months ago, one of the highest priorities I brought with me was to undo the racial disparities in our criminal justice system. I am proud. We're not all the way there yet, but I am proud that this is a promise we are keeping. The New Jersey I inherited held the dubious distinction of having the nation's widest gap in the rate of black-white incarcerations, a staggering 12-1. Our soon-to-be prior laws, which marked some residents for life and which disenfranchised others, allowed that disparity to extend into our communities. I call this a second chance agenda for a reason. We are a state that believes in second chances. We are a state that's stronger when we allow people to move forward and to fully use their God-given talents to their fullest potential. Who hasn't made a mistake, for crying out loud? Come on. Come on. Moreover, it is a second chance for New Jersey to do the right thing. We have a lot of history to make up for, and yes, we still have much more to do. Thank you. It is now my great honor to introduce the mayor of the great city of Newark. Please help me welcome Ruiz J. Baraka. Yeah.
It's a great day. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So obviously I want to thank the governor of this state for understanding that these bills are incredibly important and need to be signed into law, for advocating for this, for making this possible today, and all of the legislators that thought it not robbery to work very, very hard to get us to this point. Both on the Assembly side and the Senate side, who worked tirelessly. There are a bunch of co-sponsors, a lot of sponsors. So you see that there's been a huge effort down in Trenton to make these bills a reality today. So we want to congratulate them for keeping the people in mind and making sure we move New Jersey into a more democratic place. So thank you. We're at the Newark One Stop. So there are people who believe that these things should happen theoretically. There are people who believe that they should happen ideologically. There's people who believe they should happen legally. But then there are actually people who work to make it happen every day. Right? They actually believe it for real and practically and pragmatically work to give people second chances. Despite all of the things that happen and all the mistakes that are made and the things that people say, these people work every day here in the Newark One Stop. Newark Community Street Team was up here. I see Al Tariq in the back from Hub. You know, all of the work that they do every single day. The Urban League, you know, every day to work tirelessly to give people an opportunity to be a part of what we call a system. I don't like to say reintegrate or re-enter society, because I believe people were never integrated into society in the first place. This is a chance to get it to happen. These two laws are instrumental in making that a reality. One, cleaning the slate of people who have been free from crime and problems for 10 years is the right thing to do. You heard Damon talk about it so eloquently. People who have had this on their back for years and years, even after they've served their time, who are constantly being haunted by this, gets it to be washed away. It's excellent. 90% of the people who are arrested in the city of Newark who go to jail return to the city of Newark. 90%, which is why this is important, to give them an opportunity to clean their slate, to expunge their records. We believe it wholeheartedly. Lastly, giving people the right to vote is extremely important. First, you know, my belief is I don't believe people's right to vote should be taken in the first place, right? But because it was, we have to create laws to restore that right to vote. And I'm happy to be a part of a state that understands that this is where we need to go and what we need to do. Restoring people's right to vote that are on parole and probation is the right thing to do. It's a first step to do many, many, many more excellent things around that. But I am happy to go around the country and talk to other mayors and say, in New Jersey, if you're on parole and probation, you still have the right to vote. So I want to thank all of you for coming out here and being part of this today. I want to thank again the legislators, our governor as well, for making this happen. I have the pleasure of introducing Ron Piers, from a voting rights advocate, to come forward and also make remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, all. I want to thank Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter and Senator Sandra Cunningham for championing this bill along with many other co-sponsors. It was an honor to work with them. I can hardly believe this day has come. It's so surreal. I wonder if I'm just dreaming about it again. 2 years ago, my colleagues at the Institute and I launched the 1844 No More campaign to restore the right to vote to people with criminal convictions. I am one of those people. The campaign is named for the year that New Jersey took away the right to vote from people like me. That's the same year it restricted vote to white men in its Constitution. In recent weeks, both state houses cast their vote to re-enfranchise 83,000 people like me who are on parole and probation. Governor Murphy is going to sign the bill into law today, and I'm just beginning to process that. I'll be able to vote next year. But I am also focused on others I have come to know in the same boat. I can't wait to talk to my friend Ibrahim, incarcerated when he was 15. When he comes out of the voting booth for the first time, I want to know what his feelings are. And I am definitely thinking about my father, who instilled in me from a very young age the sacred nature of the vote and understanding that to vote has value to the soul. The past few weeks, I've been remembering my father's tradition to have coffee and sprinkled donuts at the house for the family to stop in after they cast their ballot, a sort of holiday celebration. I now can honor my father, who instilled passion for this fundamental right, this solemn duty to my neighbors, by adding my voice as part of the collective chorus of the community. I am deeply grateful to my colleagues at the Institute and the partners who never gave up on restoring the right to vote for people like me, and who won't give up until the vote is restored to the 19,000 people in prison who weren't covered by this legislation. I have no doubt we will break this final unjustifiable tie between the criminal justice system and the vote. For now, I will look forward to my first post-conviction vote. Rest assured, afterwards there will be coffee and sprinkled donuts. Thank you.
God bless you. That is so. Let's hear it one more time for Ron Piers. Thank you guys for getting Ron on the program, Ryan and Reverend Boyer, so thank you. We wouldn't be here today without a lot of folks. It does take a village, let there be no doubt about it. And this is a big one. But there's one name in particular we wouldn't be here without. I'd like to bring her up right now. Please help me welcome Senator Sandra Cunningham.
Thank you very much, Governor. I do also want to take this minute before while I'm looking at the names to acknowledge Senate President Steve Sweeney, who jumped right in on this in the beginning. Kevin Drennan, who worked so hard in his office. This would not happen without Jim McGreevey. We all know when Governor McGreevey gets involved, he does not stop. Larry Lustenberg, who could not be with us today, and Larry and I have started out doing expungement and started with giving people one chance, and then we'd come back and do 2 chances, and then at one point Governor Christie got involved and said, we'll do another chance, and every time we did it, we were heading in the right direction. I do have to think there's one person in the OLS office, Allison Asatola. Wherever you are, Allison, I owe you a drink of wine because she went nuts through this whole process. And of course, my very good friend and partner in crime, Senator Ruiz. And let me not forget the Black and Latino Caucus, because they're always with us, always on board. You know, when I first came to the Senate, I was trying to think about what I could do that would really make a difference in the lives of the people that I know or the people that I didn't know. But I wanted to do something that meant something. And when I came in, the most important thing at that time was trying to get Governor Christie to give me a brand new school in Jersey City. Well, he did that. And then after that, I said, okay, now what? What's next? But, you know, I saw people around me and started talking to them, and they needed help. they needed another chance. You know, it's okay to give people things, but giving isn't the best thing in all cases, because you don't want to give them things to help them by taking from you. You want to give them the ability to make it themselves. That's how we will survive, and that's how we will continue to grow. We put so much work into this legislation. I think we worked on part of it for almost 10 years. And no matter what else we did, we came back to we have to do something to give people a second chance. That's what this is about. This is just about giving a second chance. And I just thank all the people who have helped and all the people in this room, all of the advocates. If I didn't mention your name, credit it to my brain today, but not to my heart, because I am forever grateful to all of you. And I want the governor to know this is really the beginning, because there are a few more things we need to do. So let's keep that in mind. I will close with just saying, you know, every time someone did an expungement bill, including Senator Turner, we would say, okay, we're in the right direction, we're in the right direction, right direction. And I told someone recently, at some point, you have to arrive at your direction. Wherever your goal is for going, you've got to arrive. You can't keep going in the right direction. So we're not in the right direction here. We are almost there. Amen. We can be promoted to almost there, because the governor will get news soon that we've got a little bit place to go, a little bit more to go, a little bit more to go, and we're going to get it done with all of your help. God bless you.
Thank you, Senator. We indeed are on a journey. We're going in the right direction. There's no question about that, but we ain't home yet. I'm going to switch back and forth between chambers. Again, someone we wouldn't be here today without her leadership, in this case, in the Assembly. Please help me welcome Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter.
Members of the Black Caucus, will you please join me? Assemblyman Payne, will you please join me up here? So the work that we do, I want to thank the governor, because at his address 2 years ago, he asked us to send something to his desk, and that he would indeed sign it. As we end this decade in 2019 and go into 2020, we have done remarkable work. I want to thank the Institute for Social Justice, because the 1844 No More campaign, before we even got into campaigning, that was the campaign that we all trooped up and down the state and crossed the borders to New York to talk about why this legislation was so critical for New Jersey and how we could, in fact, be a leader. This is about people. It's no longer about what's on paper. When I arrived here, Senator Ruiz said, your hand is shaking when I went to take a selfie, because it is emotional. So the emotion that Senator Cunningham expressed, it's real for us, because this is the work that we set out to Trenton to do, to put new voters or people who should be voting back on the rolls, 80,000 plus people. We're also talking about people who whispered in our ear of their embarrassment that they served their time, were taxpayers, as Assemblywoman Tucker always states, and could not vote. So for us, we weren't afraid of the work. We weren't afraid to carry the ball forward. That was given to us as protocol has been established, Madam President, as you have trained me. I just need to say thank you to our Speaker, Craig Coughlin, who gave us the liberty to put this issue forward. I want to thank our 54-member Assembly Democratic Caucus, who heard us out and gave us a rough and tumble debate on the rights and the merit of these two bills. And I want to thank each of you who are the wind beneath our wings so that we could get this passed together. And I want to thank the governor for keeping his commitment. Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences. Who we elect, Mayor, who we elect, it matters. And keeping your word, Reverend Boyer, it means a lot in our community. We can't just talk about it. We were about it. Thank you. Thank you.
Great job. Great job. Amen. I should also add to Shavanda's very eloquent homage there. Speaker Craig Coughlin, I want to give a shout out as well. This doesn't get here without both leaders in the legislative chambers getting behind it. Last but certainly not least, Newark's own, a leader in this fight and in so many fights. Please help me welcome Senator Theresa Ruiz.
Good morning, everyone. So I do want to echo in the same sentiment of my colleagues, and I want to get some thank yous out first to our Senate President, who, I don't know if you remember this, Sandy, when we first had this discussion, we were on retreat, and both houses were, and we talked about this. And I think we lose sight of perspective of who we are depending where we come from. New Jersey is hugely diverse with so many differences of opinions. And when we talked about the restoration of voting rights, everyone looked at us like we had 10 heads, like they couldn't understand. And I share that with you because I'm not sure that people recognize the purpose of the process when you go down to Trenton. It's easy to go down there and cast a vote for popular things. It's difficult to go down there and fight and vote on purposeful things. It's easy to go down there and cast a vote that will assure you a guarantee election on the November selection process. It's difficult to go down there and take a risk to know that you are saving people's lives. When I walked into here today, you know, they say you can't make friends in this game. And I have to tell you that that is not a truth. Senator Sandra Cunningham is my sister, and I will ride and die with her until my service is done in the state of New Jersey. She complimented me on my boots, and I apologize that I'm not wearing like a suit for a presser. I have holiday parties today, and I said, but you know what? I purposely wore these boots because super women were behind this legislative process. To Speaker Coughlin and to the governor for creating a leadership collective that helped us move this bar along, to a mayor who has fully understood that that common sense approaches to moving our community forward is the best policy that you can ever enact. Quality of schools, safe communities, second chances. I was a teenager. We all were, right? But for the grace of God, I thought I was invincible and I did dumb things, right? And you don't realize how in 10 seconds your life can ultimately change. And the problem with that was that the collateral consequences that follow someone after that, when they've been disenfranchised by shackles of a conviction on a piece of paper, would continue to follow them over and over and over again. Didn't matter if they were raising their family the right way. Didn't matter if she was hustling 2 or 3 jobs. Didn't matter if she had asked her God for forgiveness. Didn't matter if she had spent years showing everybody else that she had turned her life around. We are making a significant difference today, and we're not at the finish line. We're just starting. Common sense policy is invested in human capital. If the bureaucracy moves out of the way, and if we remind people that we all bleed the same and that we mess up, I was going to say something else, but that we mess up every now and again, but that if we invest in our neighbor, it just makes me stronger. That if we invest in a community that you cannot understand, that it makes our township stronger. That when we go down there and fight for the largest and the greatest city of Newark in the state of New Jersey, that whatever policy is making an investment in our infrastructure, in our families, in our fathers, in our mothers, in our caretakers, in our stakeholder groups, that just makes the Garden State stronger. And I am just honored, privilege to be part of a team who is really moving the people of New Jersey first. Thank you.
Two very quick points. I want to jump on Senator Ruiz's point. There are folks out there who would lead you to believe that when you do something like this, you're taking something, quote unquote, from us and giving it, quote unquote, to them. And we all know better than that. When we empower folks, when we re-engage folks, when we re-embrace them, are they better and stronger? Absolutely, but we are too. And let's not forget that. I'm going to sign another bill tomorrow, God willing. I'm going to tease this without telling you what it is, but it's another very good example of what we're talking about. I want to ask, I just wanted to say this up front, and this is a good opportunity to say so. I want to ask Senator Cunningham to come back up for a quick word, but before she does, she knows this better than any of us. This has been a really tough 8 days in Jersey City, and keep the folks who lost their lives in your prayers. An extraordinary police detective we buried yesterday, a mom of 3, a young rising star, and an Ecuadorian immigrant. Jersey City is, like Newark, is a city of great strength. It has responded incredibly. Communities of all faiths, all races, ethnicities, everything. But keep those blessed folks in your prayers, and never doubt the great heroism of law enforcement. They contained what could have been multiples worse tragedy. A tragedy nonetheless, let there be no doubt about it, but instead of 4 lost lives, it could have been many multiples of that. And one of the leaders in Jersey City always is Senator Sandra Cunningham. Come on back up, Senator.
Thank you so much for remembering Jersey City. As a wife of a former policeman and U.S. Marshal, I can attest to what you said. We have brave people who are fighting our battles every single day for us, for putting their lives on the line, and we thank them. However, Assemblywoman Sumter and I forgot one very key part to all of this that we've been doing today. You can never do it all by yourself. There are wonderful people who work behind the scenes to make sure that everything gets to where it has to go, that when it gets there, it's clear, you understand it, it is acceptable, to say, hey, this doesn't sound good, maybe we should try something else. And that's the people who work for us, our chiefs of staffs and other people who are always there, and they carry the ball. So I don't know if my chief of staff is here, Sakima James, she is supposed to be. But wherever she is an asset, and I have to say thank you to her.
Thank you. And I was charged with a couple of assignments. Assemblyman Ralph Caputo, who stands with us, and that's that Essex County in him. So when you're in a fight, you want him with you. So thank you for that as well. To Jamel Holly, who's not here, his leadership was tenacious, unwavering. To the OLS staff, that's the Office of Legislative Services, to Martin Sumner, to Sherwood Goodenough, to Regina Wilder, to Daniel Smith, to my Chief of Staff, Judith Vanellis, who made sure we were where we needed to be, to make sure that we understood the language that was in the bills and it met the intent of what we were trying to do for each of you, to our Assembly Majority Office staff who put countless hours in it. We say thank you.
Thank you, Shalonda. Well done. So with that, we're going to sign these into law, which I'm incredibly honored to do, and I'm going to do a roll call. 2 different sets of pens. Bear with me. Please keep me in your prayers that I get everybody's name right and I include everybody. Let's make this happen.